Well, good afternoon. This is Fallon, and I thought I'd just do a very quick video on magic. And when I say magic, I mean in preparation for living a magical lifestyle. This is not a video where I differentiate black magic, white magic, gray magic, do any virtue signaling, anything like that. This is a pretty much anything goes magic channel, um, except for maybe I'm not keen on sacrificing living animals or anything like that. I mean there obviously needs to there's a drawing of the line, shall we say. But I really like to be more free and flowing and just kind of like Mother Nature. There's nature's nature, you know what I mean? It's a force to be reckoned with, and I just I just would not want to put myself where I'd have to try and keep this clean and viewer friendly like that. And my whole thing is there's a bazillion channels out there that just talk about um how things should be done and what kind of person you should be and what kind of magic you should do, and don't do this, don't do that, and you know uh this isn't ethical, or I don't get into all that. you know I let you decide for yourself where you're going with that, because when you start getting into that, um it just limits you, number one. Number two, um my question when it's all said and done would be, why are you even doing this if you're a fear-based person? Like, if you're afraid of, I guess, playing with fire, pun intended or not pun intended, I'm not so sure yet, then, why are you even bothering? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. So this is a disclaimer before and of course, anything I say after this is really pretty tame. But I feel that I don't like to waste people's time. And for those people that um really want to focus on this quote, white lighty, flighty, fluff bunny, whatever, this may not be the video for you, and it probably isn't the channel for you. But if there's something that you like that may be fluff bunny enough for you or whatever, then feel free to, watch whatever you like from this channel. I'm not closing, shunning or closing the door or anything. I'm just saying I do me, and that's how it's going to be. Okay? So yeah. With that said, I think I'm going to do something a little different here and talk about, if you so wish, want to start living a magical life and manifest and this and that. And there's some things that I think should be discussed, but for some reason isn't really discussed much or given much thought, and I'm not understanding why that is. Um, so I thought I'd just start with those that want to live the magical life the first. These are like some tips to the tricks, okay? So number one, be clean. Have a clean space. No dust, okay? No dust at all. Um, Clutter could really screw up your magic, okay? Because there's so much to be said with clutter that I mean, I don't even know where to start. Pack rats, not a good thing, okay? Not when you're trying to manifest and live a magical life. The cleaner and most organized you can be, the better off you'll just have a leg up on the whole magic thing. You know that saying cleanliness is next to godliness? Yeah, well, there's something to be said for that. Um, things will just flow much better. And while we're talking about that, get yourself a good duster. And also do not keep things that you're not using. Just get rid of the clutter, the pack rat stuff, the stuff you're not using. It will go to a good home, someone that may need it, you know, because it's almost like you're saying that you don't want to get rid of it because you don't think you'll have, like you're afraid of loss or something like that, you know? So that's just one of the tips that I want to discuss. There's another tip, and it's kind of involves cleaning. So let me get into that now. So as I was saying, and this has to do with the cleaning part, which is to me like a foundation. Your floors should be nice and clean to where you can almost eat off of them. Or at least that's what you should strive for here. So let's say your money's not right, your love life's not right, your prosperity's not right. I'd start looking to see what needs to be swept up and possibly mopped here. So there could be magical washes with pine, okay? But if you're just a busy gal or guy and you don't have the time for that, or you have children or whatever, you just got to make this quick, right? Get yourself some pine sol and keep those floors as clean as possible. Pine is used in magical practices and spells, and it has magical properties and spiritual meaning, okay? So I think in everybody's home who's practicing, magic, pine sol is just kind of a no-brainer, if you will, unless you want to make your own pine wash, like to wash the floors with. I tried that. I actually used a recipe myself, but honestly, the pine sol just smells so much better. And I'm a person that likes to appreciate good smells, and if I'm making something and it's not better than what I can just go out there and buy, I'm probably just gonna buy it. So the magical properties of pine is luck, joy, balance, purification, banishment, healing, fertility, prosperity, longevity, and happiness. Now that sounds pretty good to me. I'm not sure about you, but so yeah, pine sol is not gonna kill anybody. Um, and pine is associated with the zodiac signs of Aries and Scorpio. So just take that into consideration as well. It's also associated with the element of air, which represents communication, intellect, and movement. So let's say you're a salesperson and just things are getting stale, at the workplace, and you need things to keep, start moving here. Pine is probably a good thing to have here. To have that scent around you, okay, in your workspace, your house, or whatever. Also, married couples, if there's a problem with communication, pine would be good to just get the energies flowing again for communication, and things to move in the proper direction. So I would say any sales job or anything like that, have your pine at hand, pine sol, whatever, especially if you work from home. So that's another tip. Now, I'm not one to say don't start doing spells right away. I think you just got to go in there and get your hands dirty, you know. That's just my personal advice. Everybody else is going to be like, you know, be careful of this, be careful of that, don't get burned this, don't get burned that. Well, just living life, you could just walk out the door, you know, and get burned if you get my drift, okay? So, I say if you want to start doing spells, get yourself a good spell book, you know, follow the directions, la la la, okay? Until you feel like you're comfortable making up your own spells. But I think the meat and potatoes of it is if you're doing spells but you're not meditating on a daily basis, you know, you're at a big disadvantage. So I suggest you start meditating and and the easiest way that I've found is to just get yourself a white candle and just stare at the flame. So, you know, you can get these chime candles cheap enough on Amazon or eBay. And you know what you're going to do is you're just going to daily stare at the flame and actually the quickest magic is through fire. So you could literally wish something into existence. So you're not really wasting your time meditating. You know, maybe a lot of these people just don't have the patience and all that. So they just, you know, they just don't get in the habit of meditating. But I think if you felt that by wishing something into existence, because that is the quickest form of magic, is, you know, through the use of fire, okay? So that's my suggestion. You just stare at it, you know, you just get into your zone. If you have any questions or desires or prayers or whatever, you know, just focus on that subject and stare at the flame, you know, 10 to 15 minutes. If you like to do longer, then go and do longer, you know. But at least 10 to 15 minutes. Give yourself that time and just meditate on the things at hand that concern you. If everything's good in your life, just stare at the flame and just kind of get lost in what is the now, I guess. You know, that like you're just here in the now, and you'd be surprised at what questions get answered that you've been wondering about and things that actually pan out to be true. Okay. So that's that. Now, I'll get more into the whole candle magic thing later. And another thing you might want to do is just pull a card for yourself every day. Right before I started this video, I kept seeing like orbs on the camera, okay? And, you know, I'm like, is it dust particles or is it actually an orb, okay? Or two. And it moved in a direction that it would make you think that it didn't move like dust if you you know it changed directions and this and that, like just like, you know. So I didn't really think much of it, and I pulled the card out, my you know, just one of these daily cards, and I got ghost. So I thought that was really funny. So when you pull your cards out, you know, and you're just doing your daily card, something to think about, focus on, or whatever, sometimes just take it at face value, you know, like this one, consciousness. And we are talking about consciousness, you know, kind of like being in the now, and that's really important. The future is important, but in order to get into the future, you know, you really should be living in the now, right? Um, Now, I'm just circling around back a little bit here because there's something I forgot to mention real quick regarding organization and cleanliness in the house. Well, it also should be done outside of the house. Like it should not look your house shouldn't, or the outside of your house shouldn't look like a junkyard. Okay. Um it should be manicured like if you're at Disney World or something, or at least try. Um the reason being is that if you're living a magical life, you tend to attract, if you're doing fairy magic, okay, that kind of stuff, working with fae and all that, they prefer a very nice, um, natural, aesthetically pleasing outdoor environment. Just think of it as you doing your part in keeping the earth nice and clean and inviting. It's like hospitality. If you invite someone to your house, let's hope it doesn't look like a pigsty, right? So it would be the same with working with these entities. Like I said, cleanliness is next to godliness. And also, for the Christian folk and all that, okay. um I was actually reading up on curses, and there were curses on that. I mean, if we want to, go into curses and things like that, just there's a list that where it talks about that being a quote sin, right? Just putting it out there. Um which I found very interesting because it you know it makes sense, right? In the magical sense anyway. So you may want to look up curses and things like that regarding the whole Christian aspect. And you'd be surprised at what's in there. Double-mindedness, things like that. Just you'd be really shocked because some, like gluttony, just and so you're cleaning house, right? Housekeeping, right? Well, then you're talking about your body as a whole. You may want to start focusing on your body and doing, housekeeping for the body, meaning making sure the liver's working properly. I'm no doctor here, okay? So there's another disclaimer, okay? But health should take precedence, whatever that means to you. For me, that means physical exercise. That means keeping an eye on the diet. For me, that means that my organs are functioning properly, liver, gallbladder, digestive system, especially. If it's not right, then it's time to do some research. If need be, go to the doctor, get that taken care of, whatever that means. So going back to, the landscaping of the house outside, very important as well. So here we are with the daily card pulls, right? You can meditate on that consciousness, right? I got this card. I can just meditate on what does consciousness mean. If that's confusing me, you will get your answer in the meditation, okay? Or you might dream it. Maybe it'll come sooner in a dream, and then eventually it'll just come as meditation. So then I pulled one of these angel cards, spontaneity. Okay, maybe being a little more spontaneous might help with my creative juices. Or maybe it was just a card that I need, I mean, an angel card that I needed to pull for whoever's watching this video. Maybe meditate on that word. You see what I mean? So I'm gonna end this. I think I've rambled enough here. So I'm going to end the video, and I'm gonna have another one up shortly. So keep an eye out for that. And I just thought this was a very important video to make, and I hope that it's helped everyone out in some way, shape, or form. So with that, I'm gonna leave that with you, and take care, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day or morning or evening, depending on where you're at right now. Bye.